All right, so we're gonna go over a little bit of basics. Nice titty bounce.
Thank you. That was for the viewing pleasure.
We're gonna go into a truncated version of what we do for rehabilitation in a chest press. Okay, a pushing type motion, which is basically the bench press. Okay, so the best angle to create is actually going to be at an angle. Okay.
Okay.
So if you come into like a 45 or 60 degree angle away from your midline, okay, that's the angle that you actually want to push out. Okay.
Okay.
So, and that actually starts to engage a huge muscle group called the lats, latissimus dorsi, which a lot of people actually leave out because your typical person that's lifting in the gym is going to, when they press, they're going to press this way because they want that cleavage to show up, and essentially they forget to keep their chest open and just use the arms.
Okay.
Where you incorporate a lot of muscle groups, your pec major, pec minor, your anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid, your your latissimus dorsi, your tricep. When you have all those things working for you, you're pushing a lot more weight instead of just this. Okay. So, and the other thing is physics. Okay. If I were to come in at this angle, I only have this vector.
Yeah.
Okay. So physics and math, if I come at an angle here, I now employ this vector and that vector.
Okay.
Together. They're cumulative now. Okay. Along this plane. So that's why when we want to push, we push this way.
Okay.
So the one thing we're going to make stable is the position of our chest. So one of the things that I like to do is actually like an inverted row, where you're actually pulling your bar up to or your chest up to a bar.
Okay.
So that position is what you're going to maintain throughout the entire movement.
So are we doing that now?
Yep, exactly.
So lay back. Where do you want my body positioned here?
You can scoot down just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, because essentially I can either help you with a lift off or somebody else can. Okay.
Okay, so here.
But wherever you're comfortable, feet are flat on the ground. Okay. Some of the
feet in a good
powerlifters,
spot?
yep, they're not too bad. Sometimes I like to have the feet pointed straight ahead. Okay, but again, there's different variations. In some powerlifters, you'll actually see it come up onto the toes. Okay, but the butt is in contact. You're gonna stick that chest up. Okay, so you're gonna create a bit of an arch. Okay, so even though we're creating some increased arch or lumbar lordosis, he is still locking and loading this area. He's keeping this nice and tight. Okay, so in this area, we're going to, put your arms at about that 45 or 60 degree angle. Okay, retract that a little bit. So mark yourself on the bar.
It's about ring finger.
Yep.
Not about middle finger.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Stick that chest up and lock that in so that doesn't move. Okay. So we're going to lift the bar out. Okay. And I want you to bring the bar right to the highest point where you're sticking your chest up right now. Okay. So lower that. Okay. Okay. Right about there. Even lower. Right there. Good, good, perfect. Just keep that chest up, okay? So when you do that, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna triangle out or push out to the sides here, okay? And so another cue that guys will use as they do this is actually really contract that pinky around the bar, almost like you're trying to bend the bar this way.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and that way you're pushing the bar out that way. Okay, good, relax the head, okay? And push outward, good. Really trying to lock those arms.
Pushing down with the pinky.
Yeah. Only when you push up.
And that really makes sure that your elbow is staying as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. That way you can engage the lats. Good.
It's different.
Yep.
You hear a lot of things like tuck your chin, and but really.
And so here's the thing is, you're lifting the bench press.
Yeah.
You're not lifting with your chin, right?
No.
So you have the bench to support you, okay? So why not employ or drive more energy and force into the muscles that are actually going to work, not your neck.
Yeah.
So we've actually had guys that would strain their neck, either the SCM, the scalenes. So there's a thin muscle called the platysma.
Okay.
Those can go into a contraction because they're straining so hard. So again, we're here to teach about efficiency, and this is purely a pressing movement. So you want to guide the power to the muscles that are going to create that movement for you.
All right, so that's the way to bench. So again, you have the angle.
Yep.
I'm going to go into the pushing in. I'll sit up. It's a little awkward. It's not that kind of channel. Okay, so that's Kara's channel. So you want to go in, and I found the biggest mental cue to keep everything tight is focusing on bending the bar, pushing in with the pinky. Because a lot of people, you'll see them come in and they're benched, they're out like this. Now what that does to your shoulder right here, I'm gonna pretend to be smart for a second. You're gonna see a lot of torn pecs. And when you're out like this, look at that vulnerability. When you're in like this, you're protecting that area. So it makes bench press a lot safer and more rehabilitative rather than a risk. We look at the big three as risks. When in reality, I mean, you look at like, the only thing I can see is the load on the spine with the squat of the big three. I mean, that in and of itself, I mean, you get pretty heavy with that, still load on the spine. I understand your body compensates for it, and that's why I'm so short. But deadlift and bench, if done correctly, are extremely rehabilitative, and there are steps to take where it takes away that risk factor. There's risk in every exercise you do. There's risk stepping off a curb, but to minimize that and make it into almost a rehabilitative movement, that's what I found. And also, you know, when I power lifted, again, we're creatures of habit. You know, we tucked our toes, and that was granted 15 years ago, but I'm old.
And there are guys that still do that. As long as their base is supportive, and they've locked this area and they maintain this is the biggest area.
Legs are almost irrelevant. Another thing I want to throw into people, every time I spot at the gym, 9 out of 10 times when guys are going heavy with weight, watch this. I'm not gonna focus on anything up here. We're gonna watch my feet. Just focus the camera right on my bulge. Okay, but they'll be like this, watch. This is when you know you messed up. You come like this, and you're all over, and your legs are kicking. Dude, if you don't have a strong base, you don't have a strong tip. So you got to keep your base nice. You got to keep your base. Nobody got that. You got to keep your base nice and strong to maintain a proper lift. Your base is everything. So make sure that you keep this stable. Whether you tuck your toes or you have a flat foot position, make sure it's not moving around. And that also lends itself to, this going so far beyond the scope, to lower back injury from you flailing around like a dead fish or a dying fish, so to speak.
And you actually brought up a really good point. So again, that rehabilitative point. So when you turn that in, this is internal rotation of that humerus, this bone right here, which comes up and attaches to that torso, okay?
Yeah.
When you turn in, that creates a lot of that instability, like what we were doing with Kara. You rotate those femurs out, okay, external hip rotation, stability. Same thing here. If you turn those shoulders out, put the chest up, that creates that stability.
Yeah.
That actually increases your size and the potential foundation for you to develop your physique here. Versus if you do this, all you concentrate is the center line. You create all the stability, and again, you start to create in a lot of pressure on muscles, tendons, ligaments that aren't designed to withstand that kind of demand. So.
Precisely. His was sounded much smarter than mine, but we'll just pretend it happens. Stu, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
This is a good one. Honestly, next year, keep an eye open. Around the time of the Arnold Classic, we'll have Big Nate demonstrate all this stuff all over again.
Yep, absolutely.
So anyway, thanks for watching, man. Hopefully you got a good primer on how to properly do bench press, and keep form in mind. Again, get your form down before you start going heavy. Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, alongside my man Dr. Stu, with his formula, Machine Motion, the Dr. Stu series. Dr. Stu, what's up with this, man?
So we designed this formulation. It's a joint formula, okay, to kind of support the book that we came out with for low back pain, right? And so we want to support the health of joints for people that are just ailing. And we put a short little, a compact little formulation together and put everything together that everybody has kind of separated into different products. So it's an all-in-one. There's a link in the description below. You can click on that, find out a little bit more information, and there it is.
Thing is, you're looking at scientifically validated dosing of key ingredients to help not only if you have lower back pain, but any kind of joint issues or if you want to prevent them. And that's not a game.